No. So before we get into creative financing, which is like my absolute favorite, first we're gonna have to discuss talking to sellers, which some of us we may have a challenge with doing that. And I've been listening to the calls, just kind of seeing, where are we getting stuck. And it starts off with the first few seconds of the call when you're first getting on the phone. Um, Give me a quick second so that I can look at the topics real quick because I put some notes to the side. Okay. So the first thing I want to go over is the intro, how to make your intro when you're on the phones. Now some people have different ways of doing their intro. I have mine, but whatever works for you, that's the intro that you should be using. The one that I typically use, how can I do this and make this like a regular, oh, here it is. Boom. Okay. So whenever we're on the phones with the sellers, and let's pretend like we are, maybe we're just following up with a lead that we've been talking to for like the past maybe month or so, or maybe 3 months, or our previous conversation was about 3 months ago. You're going to see leads popping up that's like, um, maybe the last time we talked to them was back in, let's just say November of 2022, or you see a lead that that one of us spoke to back in February. Well, we don't want to go in there and ask, hey, are you interested in selling that property? Because now you're restarting the entire process. And what you just did was you created a wall. So now their guards are up because you sound like another cold caller. You sound like someone who's inexperienced and you don't know what you're doing. And this is just me speaking on how sellers think whenever we call them and ask, do you want an offer? We don't want to go in there with that type of with that introduction, because again, you're putting yourself in a place where you're sounding just like the other wholesalers, the other investors. Are you interested in an offer? Well, we obviously know that they're interested in an offer because we've had a conversation with them previously. So we're not asking them, are they wanting offers? We're asking them, hey, what's going on, man? Did you guys end up selling that property, or did y'all decide to hold on to it? We need to know these two things. Did you guys decide to hold on to the property? They give them an option, or they give them the right to say no. We didn't hold on to it. We still want to sell it. Or yes, we decided to hold on to it. And that's the quickest way that you can figure out, should you discuss this property over the next 10 to 20 minutes. If they say, yeah, we decided to hold on to it, a quick follow-up question, oh man, I completely understand. Well, what kind of changed? Well, we weren't getting the offers that we were looking for. The offers were way too low. People are lowballing me. People are just disgusting, and it's I can't accept a low offer. So now we know what's going on. We kind of pulled out their motivation without even asking them, what's your motivation? What's your reason of selling? Their reason of selling should already be in the notes. But if we're just following up with them guys, we have to ask those two questions. It really, really helps. Hey, real quick, Shad, I was seeing if you ever sold that property on Main Street, or did you decide to hold on to it? And it's the thing about the hey, real quick, it's like you have to be straight to the point. It captures their attention. Hey, Shad, real quick, man. Just think of a snap like, hey, John Michael, real quick. Did you guys end up selling that property over there on Main Street, or did y'all decide to hold on to it? Don't give them a chance to answer when you're doing your intro. Don't even give them a chance to speak. So I'm literally saying probably maybe 30 words without giving you a chance to even speak. Hey, John Michael, real quick, man. Did you guys decide to hold on to that property, or did y'all end up selling it? Then I'll let them talk. But I don't ask them, hey, did you guys sell that property? Because what it does is oh my goodness, you're another one of those. You want to sound like you already had a conversation. You want to familiarize yourself with the seller. They might not remember you from months ago, but they do know if they're holding on to the property, or if they sold it. They do know that much. They're not going to ask you, who is this? They're going to answer you right away. It happens all the time, but you have to be confident when you're doing these intros. You have to be confident when you ask these questions. You don't want to be timid and soft and weak. It's going to get you hung up on, and it's going to get you a terrible response. So, the other child, what was the other intro you said? Because I have like 80 of them.
Okay. Hey Shad, real quick, you talked to my partners about selling Main Street. Did you ever get that one sold?
That is perfect. So what that intro does is first of all, I'm familiarizing myself with the seller. They may not remember me, which is okay. They guys, you got to remember, they're talking to 1,000 investors, not 1,000 really, but they're talking to probably 12 investors per day. Anytime we call them, yeah, I've talked to like 11 other people before you. They're talking to a lot of investors, so they're not going to remember us. So we want to familiarize ourselves, but what we don't want to do is sound like we're cold calling, because you're restarting the entire process, and that's going to screw up everything. We have notes that's inside a follow-up, boss. You should check those notes out when you call. But anyway, so hey, Shy, real quick, you talk to my partners, man. And you don't even have to bring up your partner's name. You can just say you talk to my partners. Who's your partners? That could be anybody. You just want to familiarize yourself with them. Kind of get to the point. Let them know what you're calling about. Let them know this is not a cold call. Let them know this is not a scam call. Hey, Shot, real quick, man. I don't even give him a chance to answer when I say, hey, Shot. Hey, Shot, real quick, man. Hey, you talked to my partners a few weeks ago about Main Street. I was seeing if you guys went ahead and decided to hold on to that property. What I'm doing is I'm pulling away like automatically. I don't want to sound like I'm interested in the house because I don't want to sound desperate. If I sound desperate, they'll smell that shit. They will smell that from a mile away. Hey, are you still interested in selling that property? I'm not doing that. No, we're not interested. Bye. Thank you. How many times have y'all heard that? It's because you sound just like the other investors. You sound like the other wholesalers who's eager to get a deal. They're very eager. We're not eager. We don't want to be desperate. We're trained to come in here and close these people, to help these people. When you do those intros, guys, you want to sound very, very confident. You want to sound a little excited, but a little non-excited. So it's just kind of, just think of when you're talking to your spouse. You guys are probably calm. You're excited, but you're not too excited, because you don't want to show them that you're desperate for them, right? I know I don't. I don't want to show my wife I'm desperate for her. I love her a lot. I can't show her that. She got to work for this. No, it wasn't funny. All right, cool. All right, cool.
Damn, bro.
Jokes. I get it. But but you want to make sure, guys, that we're in here and we're sounding confident as hell when we get on the phones, especially the intro. The intro is going to get you, it's going to take you to another place. It's going to take you to another level. And it's so simple, and it's very direct. Hey, Shot, you talked to my partners a few weeks ago. We were talking about Main Street. Did you guys end up selling that one? It's direct, straight to the point. So if you guys work on those two intros, it'll help you out a lot. I'm not saying like you have to say it verbatim or word for word, kind of put your own sauce in there, but that really, really helps. And I figured that out when I started listening to other people when they were making calls, and they sound just like everyone else. Like, why are you not trying to stand out? You're asking this seller the same exact question that the other wholesalers or the previous wholesalers has asked them. So why are we trying to sound like these people if these are our competition or competitors? We don't want to sound like them. We want to stand out just a little bit. So that's intro. If it's a cold call, you can make a really quick intro on cold calls. Hey, Shot, this is Jabs, man. I was just seeing if you ever considered an offer on this property on Main Street. With that intro, it's just simple, straight to the point. Right now, we're just trying to lead generate. But the way you ask that question, you want to ask it with a tonality of, I genuinely care and I'm genuinely trying to buy your house and I'm not trying to scam you or I'm not trying to come in here and lowball you. When we get on the phone, hey, Shot, what's going on, man? Hey, who is this? Yeah, man, this is Jabs. My apologies. I'm talking to you like I know you or something. So let me get to the point real quick. Hey, did you guys ever sell that property on Main Street? Even if it's a cold call, I'm asking, hey, did you guys sell that property on Main Street? It's just a different way to get on the phone with the sellers. It's a different way to connect with the sellers. Even if I'm cold calling, I'm going to ask, hey, did you guys sell that property on Main Street? No, we weren't thinking about selling this property. Why'd you ask that? Oh man, I don't know. I was just seeing if you guys ever considered an offer on that property. No, I had a lot of calls, people calling me and texting me about making an offer on my property. Okay, gotcha. All right, cool. Move on to the next lead. Let's go. Hey Ben, what's going on, man? This is Jabs. Real quick, bro. I was trying to see if you guys ever decided to maybe take an offer on this property. I know you probably had a few offers on it. Actually, yeah, we were looking to sell it, but we keep getting lowball offers. Guys, I have so many different intros that so the way that I do my intros is I'm trying to stand out and I want to capture their attention as soon as we get on the phone. I want them thinking like, what the hell? Like what just hit me? Like what punched me? Somebody just punched me. Who the hell is this? Like, what? Guys, I'm telling you, if you familiarize yourself with the lead, they don't even know you. They don't know who they're talking to on the phone. You want to make it sound like they know you. You don't want to sound like a stranger. That's where everyone messes up. Hello. Yes, this is Javel. I'm calling about your property on doop doop doop. I'm hanging up the phone. You took too long. You didn't get to the point. I don't know who you are. You're calling about a property. You don't sound confident. I'm hanging up the phone. Not picking on you, Javel. I'm just using your name. If you guys sound timid and weak, be prepared to get the phone hung up on you or be prepared for that conversation not to go so well. I promise you that. So that's intro. But I really, really, really want to I want everyone to focus on the intros. The intros is going to take you to another level when you're on the phone. Please do not sound like you're inexperienced. Even if you are, you don't want to do that. Because now you're going to have to transfer that lead to someone else because they hung up the phone on you, and that's a lead that you could have possibly made money on. Tonality. Typically, when I'm talking to a seller, my tonality, I sound very, very. I have a smooth talk when I'm talking to sellers, so that I don't sound like I'm desperate. I don't want to sound desperate. I don't need their business. I want their business, but I don't need it. That's the mindset that I have when I'm going in on these phone calls. I don't need to buy your house. I want to buy it. So my tonality, I'm basically mirroring the sellers. If they're high, I may have to go up there and be high with them. If they're speaking a little bit faster than I am, I may have to start speaking a little bit faster with them. If I can tell that they're a little bit older in age, I'm going to speak to them at a very, very calm, soft manner. You want to mirror your people. You want to mirror your sellers. Evan has a very, very smooth talk or a smooth sound. He's talking on the phone, kind of similar to this one. So if his sellers are, you know, sounding smooth and talking smooth, then maybe we should start talking smooth. But if your sellers are loud and they are excited, maybe I should sound loud and excited. You want to mirror your sellers. You got to watch your tonality. If they're talking fast, guys, you don't want to talk slow. You got to keep up with them. If they like Trump, I like Trump. I actually do like Trump. Everybody wants Trump to come back. But anyway, but the whole point of your tonality whenever you're talking to these sellers, you want to kind of mirror your sellers. You want to basically sound like them. But my tonality, it never changes. It always stays the same. I have a tonality whenever I'm talking. The way that I sound like I genuinely care about the property and about them, not just about me and my team getting paid. So hey, Shad, yeah, man, what's going on? This is Jabs. You spoke to a few of my partners about Main Street, man. And I was just seeing if you guys went ahead and sold that, or did y'all decide to hold on to it? Yeah, Jabs, we decided to hold on to it. Oh, okay, no problem. Hey, Shot, man, what? Just quick question, just curious. What changed? Did you guys, y'all weren't getting the offers y'all wanted, or maybe you think you can get a bit more, or what's going on with that? Yeah, the offers that were coming in, they were way too low. Our agent, they couldn't sell our property. We tried to list it on the market. It couldn't sell. So we just want to go ahead and, hold on to the property and see if we can get a better offer maybe in a few months. Wow. Okay. Gotcha. That makes sense. So let's just say, and I'm not trying to, persuade you to buy your house, even though I am. I'm not trying to persuade you to, sell your house, but what if there's a way that maybe we can come in here and potentially give you what you're asking, but you guys give us a little bit of time to kind of pay you guys. That way you can get what you want, we get what we want. We just kind of make the deal make sense. Does that kind of make sense? So you guys hear my tone? Like I sound like I genuinely care. Like I'm not too excited. I'm not excited at all. I want to have a. I see what I'm trying to do is I want them to come to my level, come to my world really quick. I stepped into your world. Now it's my turn. Come step into my world. So they're gonna think, wow, this guy isn't pushy. He doesn't sound like he's like forcing me to sell my house. He's not trying to steal my equity. You want to have that impression from the seller. And the way you do it, guys, it's really your tonality and how you talk to these people. You don't want to interview them. Interviewing them is just asking them simple ass questions. You don't want to do that. You want to genuinely care about these people. We're having a conversation about someone's house, something. We're talking about um an object that someone lives in. They care about their house. They care about what they get in their pocket for their house. They don't want to feel like they're being cheated. You want to sound like a friend, someone who genuinely cares. A real quick tip is, if you guys are far apart on negotiating the price, hey, Jordan, real quick, man, let me go ahead and just take my investor's hat off. Um, yeah. So give me a few seconds. Let me take my investor's hat off. I'm gonna show y'all where I'm going with this. So Jordan, if I were like your friend, maybe a cousin or nephew, brother, or something like that, this is something that I would do. If you're not getting the offers that you want, obviously this is off market. So you're probably going to run into a lot of investors, not a lot of homestead buyers. Would you consider just throwing this house on the market and potentially getting, a retail buyer to come in here to pay a little bit more than what we're looking to pay? I'm not too sure. Yeah. No worries. Can I just walk you through a few options that you have instead of just selling it to a lowballing investor? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to walk them through the different options they have because I took my investor's hat off. And what that means is I'm not trying to fight you over your price. I don't want to go back and forth. I want to actually help you. Here's how I can help you. And then I'm just going to go through the different options that they have. One of them, listing it on the market. The next one, I would see if maybe we can do a novation agreement. If they're not open to novation agreement, I'm going to ask them, hey, well, do you think we can shop this around to our investors to see if they'll be willing to pay a little bit more than what we're willing to pay? The next thing I will offer them is, hey, would you guys consider doing it, pulling out the equity on this property, pulling out a HELOC, home equity line of credit? If you guys don't know what that is, YouTube it up, come back and we can talk about it. But Shai said I'm limited on time, so I can't really go into details. The next thing I asked them is, hey, would you want to go ahead and just do a cash out refinance? You can pull out at least 75 to 80% of your equity, and we'll take over that new loan. Um, and then the last one is, would you guys consider selling it to us on terms? And that way we can wipe out every option that they don't want. And then we finally come to a conclusion. Okay, I don't want to do this. I don't want to sell to an investor. I don't want to pull out a HELOC. I don't want to do a cash out refinance. I don't want to put it on the market. I don't want to rent my house out. Yeah, sure. I'll be interested in terms. If that's the way that I can get my property sold, sure, let's do terms. I'm literally taking my investor's hat off so that I can provide a solution for them. I want to show them that I'm here to help them. But it starts with the intro, tonality, and being resourceful, actually showing the sellers that you genuinely care. Now how to make the offers to the seller and how to negotiate with them. When you're approaching your offers, um, you want to kind of get them prepared and kind of ask them like, hey, would you consider something somewhere around like $40,000 to $50,000? You're making an offer without actually making an offer. I'm just asking, would you consider something somewhere around like $40,000 to $50,000? I'm seeing a few sales over here, cash sales around 40. Some of them are around 50,000 max. Is that something that you would consider? And I'm asking, or would they consider it? Because I don't want to sound like I'm actually making them the offer. I'm basically throwing that offer out there because I'm seeing cash sales around that number. That way the heat is not all on me. They're not pissed off at me. They're not upset at me. They're not mad at me, and they're not taking it personal. I'm telling them what the data shows me. Hey, Shot. Um, so I'm looking at cash sales in the area, and I know you're asking around $70,000, which isn't far apart from what I'm seeing. I'm seeing, cash sales anywhere between $40,000 to $50,000. Is that something that you would consider? You know, the last investor they offered me 52,000. I just don't know where these numbers are coming from. Yeah, so let me just kind of walk you through that really quick. So if you see, this property over here, it sold for 45,000. So more than likely, if we were to come in and purchase this property, we probably will be around the same price, given that we'll have to put in repairs and, do all these upgrades. And the deal would make sense for us if we, purchase it around that 40 to 50K range. So this is this is kind of my approach when I'm making offers. I'm very direct. I don't start out with high numbers. I start out with low numbers because I want to establish that number up front. I don't want to tell them I can do a higher number and then get under contract and then lower the price. I don't want to do that. I want to give them the direct number up front so that they know if if they deny my offer, that's totally fine with us. Maybe we're not a fit. But if they deny my offer and they're getting the same offers that I'm offering them, they're going to know, okay, this is what my house is worth. Hold on, there's a helicopter, guys. 1 second. Okay, so I'm just letting them know. I'm just basically showing them facts. I'm giving them facts, but I also want them to know this is where we'll be, or this is where we could be if we purchase this property right now. If they deny the offer because the offer is too low, that's totally fine with us. They're going to go around and they're going to shop that offer around. They're going to talk to other investors. They're going to talk to other agents. They're going to talk to all of these people. And then they're going to eventually come back to us and they're going to sell to us. And it's going to be at that price that we gave them up front. We're not trying to offer them, $100,000 more than what the property is worth. We just can't do that just because we want to get a contract signed. We're not those buyers. That's not us. So, the next thing, that's just approaching, like how to approach, your offer. It's real easy. Or how to make the offer to your seller. negotiating. So my good friend, let's just pretend like his name is Jordan. Jordan has a challenge with negotiating. And I'm not talking about Jordan Deal. I'm just making up a name. That was the first name that popped up in my head. Jordan has a challenge with negotiating when it comes to making offers. So when you're negotiating, it's not, it is about price, but it's more about their situation. So depending on what they need versus what's going on would be the determining factor of how I negotiate. Here's an example. I got on a call with this guy that we're going to potentially lock up tomorrow once I get back to Dallas. But I got on the phone with him and he said he's ready to sell his house subject to. He talked me into doing subject to. I didn't talk him into it. He talked me into doing it. All I did was I said, well, why don't you let me buy it? But anyway, but he said, hey, if do you think it'll be, outrageous to ask for like 35,000 for someone to move in here? Do you think that's an outrageous number? I told him no, I don't think it's outrageous. But I countered him and I said, okay, when are you looking to move? Like, how soon do you need to move? He said, man, I need to move like yesterday. I gotta go. Like, I need to hurry up and move. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Like, what's the rush? Man, I gotta get over here to my family. I would love to stay over here, but I got kids, man. We gotta move closer to our family, bro. Like, we gotta really move. Okay, there's a pain point right there. All right, so you gotta go. You're in a rush. Okay, cool. I'm gonna give him in a rush offer. 35,000 may work, but let's just say if $35,000 doesn't work, are you a little flexible on that number? That way the deal can kind of make sense for for an investor. Yeah, I got a little bit of flexibility in there. What you thinking, Jabs? Yeah, the reason I'm asking that, man, is just so that we can make this a win-win situation for you and for the investor, or if I end up buying it, we make it a win-win for me. So I just want to see, would you consider something like maybe somewhere around like $28,000 and pay you the rest over time? Yeah, I take that. Hell yeah, I take that. Okay, perfect. Sounds good. Okay, and just in case that $28,000 doesn't work, and we go back and rerun the numbers, and just for whatever reason 28 doesn't make sense, is there still a little bit of flexibility in there? That way we can make the deal make sense for all of us. And then also you can go ahead and get moved out. You move your family over there to Louisville. I'm going back to his pain point so that he can remember why he's selling this property. Yes, it is about price, but it's also about their situation. So I'm not beating this guy up over price. I'm trying to figure out what's going on so that I can help him. But he also got to make sure the deal makes sense for me as well. So we're potentially going to come in here and give this guy $17,000. But what helps me with negotiating is I'm trying to figure out what is going on with you that's going to help me as a professional salesman pull all of that information out of you, pull all of your pain points out of you so that I can either point you in the right direction or solve your problem. He doesn't need $35,000. He's cool with walking away with 17 grand. He's moving to a place to rent. He's gonna move with his mom. So he don't need $35,000. 35 probably doesn't work for us anyway. Hell, I'm borrowing that money from Shad. Shad may say, hey, Jabs, can you get that deal a little bit lower? Okay, no problem. Let me go figure out what's going on with the seller so that I can bring the entry fee lower. So when we're negotiating, guys, you want to figure out what's their true pain point. Okay, so if you get this $17,000, kind of what's your plans? What are you looking to do with this? Oh, I got blah, 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 blah. Okay, perfect. Sounds good, man. I may not be the one to give you the 17,000 or so. If I'm not able to make the $17,000 work, are you a little bit flexible on that? That's a really good question. Are you a little bit flexible on that number? And you don't want to ask it in an aggressive way. Are you flexible on that? Because now you sound like you're an op. You're in opposition. You're standing across from them. If we're sitting down at a kitchen table, you're on the other side of the table and not sitting next to them. When I'm on the phone with these people, I'm sitting next to them at the kitchen table. I'm not sitting across from them. Hopefully y'all get that analogy. But you want to sound like you're literally sitting right next to them and you're trying to help them. You're brainstorming on how we can get this deal done. So it's not really about negotiating the numbers. It's about negotiating their situation so that you can give them the number that they actually need. We're here to make deals. So let's go into pitching creative. I have a quick presentation. I'm not going to go over it just yet. I'm not going to go over it in details. I'm just going to walk you guys through the case study so that you can see why creative makes sense and how we do it. But the first thing is when to pitch creative. Well, let's go over this. This is a deal that we sold in Virginia. And again, I'm gonna run through this so y'all can screenshot it or just read it. But this property was worth about $236,000 when we first bought it. They were selling this property on the market for $236,000. Here's the kicker: their loan balance was $196,000. So, how much in equity do they have in this property? $236,000 minus $196,000.
40,000.
Perfect. $40,000. Can they sell this house to an investor for all cash? You guys think
No.
they can sell this property all cash to an investor? I don't know. Yes, no. Come on, y'all. Let's wake up.
No.
Okay. Thank you. The answer is no. They owe 196. There's only 40K in equity on this property. So if that's the case, the only thing we can do is do something creative. They tried to list this property on the market. They actually had it listed on the market, and it was listed for about 6 months. We went in there, talked to the seller. We asked them, hey, would you guys consider something creative? We're not going to come in here and ask you to lower your price. We're not going to come in here and ask you to give us a price reduction. We're not going to ask for any of that stuff. We want to come in here and pretty much take over your mortgage. Why did I go in there and pitch creative? Because they only have $40,000 in equity. I asked them, how much do you guys need to go ahead and walk away from this property? They said, we need $20,000. That's all we need, $20,000. Okay. Would you guys consider taking $18,000 in total? They said, yes, we'll take $18,000. Okay, Mr. Seller, I'll give you the 18, but the thing about it is I can't pay the full $18,000 up front because there's a couple other expenses that I have to pay. So we're going to have to structure it in a way where I can give you a lump sum out of that 18,000 and I can pay you a monthly payment over the next maybe 3 to 5 years. Would you consider something like that? They said, yes, but how much would you pay us up front? What do you need right now? We need $10,000. Okay. Would you guys take 9? Guys, I'm cheap as fuck when it comes to making offers. I'm very, very cheap. I'm frugal, whatever you want to call me. I know where we can allocate our funds. The deal has to make sense. So they took the 9 grand. We got them from $40,000 in equity down to $18,000 with $9,000 down. I went in there and I got to the bottom of their situation. I figured out how much equity they have just by asking a few questions. What's your loan balance? What's your PITI? What's your interest rate? They told me what it is. Okay, cool. As long as you got $40,000 in equity, what do you guys need right now? I'm not asking how much do you want. What do you guys need right now? What are y'all's plans? What's y'all's next move? Oh, we're going to move into this rental house. Okay, cool. So y'all don't need $40,000. What do y'all need right now? We need you know, $20,000. Okay, cool. Would y'all take 18? Yes. All right, cool. Would you guys take a lump sum up front? Yes. All right. What would you take up front out of this 18,000? We want 12 or 10. All right, let's do 9. Call it a deal. How much would you pay us a month? I can give you guys, you know, 200. Okay, perfect. That's how I solved that problem. Very, very easily. Very, very easy. It's actually simple. You're basically coming here, like, you can look at yourself as a consultant in a way. You're just solving problems. The real estate, I think, is like this is maybe 70%. You're doing, it's a 70% like people's business, and then the other 30% is real estate. That's like contracts, you know, trusts, and I just think it's 70% of people's business, 30% real estate or real estate related. That's kind of how I look at real estate. I don't have to know anything about real estate in order to come in here and pitch a creative deal. I just have to know how to talk to people. That's it. All right, Diego. Now, another thing, when you're pitching creative, you got to know, you know, you have to know when to pitch this, when to pitch it, or how to recognize a creative deal. Or actually, before I go to when how to recognize it, why do we pitch creative? Well, I simply pitch it because I know that this is going to help the seller sell their home. I know this is going to solve their problem. Why do I pitch creative? Well, here's a couple other reasons. One, if people have a lot, if people have low equity in their property, I'm going to pitch creative. This is the only way they can sell their house. They can't put it on the market. If they put it on the market, they're going to have to come out of pocket to cover closing costs and commissions when they sell their house. Another reason why and when we pitch creative, we would pitch this if someone owns their property free and clear and they're stuck on their price and they're not moving, and they want what they want and they don't want to put it on the market, I'm going to pitch creative all day long. I'll give you your price as long as you can give me the terms that works for us. Because they're stuck on their price. They're not moving. So if I give you what you want, would you just consider selling this property seller finance to me? I'll do it, but I'm not moving from 280. Okay, no problem. I'll give you $280,000. What type of terms would you give me if I purchased this for $280,000? Now, you guys got to recognize a seller finance deal or subject to deal or a creative deal, period. I recognize this as soon as they told me how much they owe and how much they're trying to sell it for. They were trying to sell it for $236 and they owe $196. That's $40,000 total. Okay. Some people, they don't care about the damn equity. They just need something up front to get out of the house. They need something to fix their situation. So if you hear someone say, man, I got to leave like by next week, you want to get in depth. You want to figure out what's going on. Because then you will know, okay, these people need a cash offer or these people need something creative. We can pay them off later on. We can give them something up front and we can pay them off later on. Let me give you guys another example. How do I go to the next slide? I don't know. So let's just do it this way. Here's another example of why and when to pitch creative. This guy's sales price was 280. Oh, I'm sorry. Unknown call. His loan balance was 236,000. He was selling his property for, I think it was 260, I believe. He was selling for about 260. So there was about 30K that he wanted in his pocket. We got him down to $23,000 down. This is a new build. This house is a 2022 build. If you look this property up, you'll see it's a 2022 build. When we would pitch creative is if there's no equity, if it's a brand new property and people are trying to sell it. If people are like, if they're giving you signs, hey, I just need some cash right now so that I can move out and go, put this on a rental home or something like that. Okay, cool. I know I can pitch creative. I know they need the funds right now. I know this will help them and it will help us. So when the guy told us that, when he told us that he wanted, 260, and I asked him, how much do you owe? He said 236. I said, okay, you're trying to walk with like 30 to 40,000 in your pocket, correct? He said, yeah. I said, okay, would you consider something like maybe, $15,000? Said, nah, I need at least 25,000.
Dante.
So I said, okay, what if we do something like this? You give us the right to market your property. We find a buyer for this. And that's how you'll get your 25,000. He was open to it. He was totally open to it. So we got him down from 25 to 23. But it took me pulling this information out of him. How much you need right now? Man, I need 25,000. Okay, perfect. If you allow me to go out here and market this property to our end buyers or our wrap buyers, we can potentially give you that $25,000. But we got him down to 23, all because we're literally pulling out the information we need from him. Loan balance. We're getting the asking price. I'm getting the PITI. I'm getting his interest rate. I'm figuring out what does he need in his pocket. I'm figuring out how much is he trying to walk away with? How much are you looking to net after everything is all settled and done? What are you looking to walk away with? You guys, we got to know how to negotiate that. So let's go into, I'm looking at my notes right now. Recognizing a creative deal. That's a really good topic. So if you guys are talking to a lead, and let's just use this one for an example because we're looking at it. If you look up a lead right here, let's look this property up really quick. And I'm gonna run through it quick, Shad, because I know your time is limited. But
You have 10 minutes.
Okay, perfect. So let's look this lead up. Oh yeah, she's wanting a JV on this deal. Perfect. Okay. Shad, by the way, we got another guy who wants to do some private money lending.
Awesome. Yeah, we need that.
Okay.
We have a lot of deals. We'll talk about this later on.
Perfect. So let's say that Jordan gets on the phone with a lead, or I'm gonna use John Michael. I love John Michael. That's my guy right there. John Michael, if someone tries to bully you, bro, I would come out there and beat their ass. John Michael
Yes,
works
sir.
extremely hard, man. This guy is really good on the phones. I'll be listening to him. He works extremely hard. So if John Michael gets on the phone and he's talking to a lead and he just happens to look it up on Zillow and he sees that this property is a 2022 build, are we trying to pitch cash offers?
No,
Why not?
they don't have equity on that.
They
It's a
don't.
new build.
Exactly. So this is how you can quickly recognize if this would be a creative deal. You can look at the year build. If this is a 2019, I'm pitching creative. I'm not even looking at cash offers. I'm not about to waste his time. Now, if you see that this is a 2022, like let's just say it's maybe 2018 up to 2022, that's all creative. That's all creative. it's 2018. There's barely any equity in there. Y'all just bought this property. It was built in 2018. There's a huge loan still left on this property. You still got like maybe 23 years left on this mortgage. There's no way you're close to paying this off unless the appreciation just went up expeditiously. I'm just kidding. But seriously, if we have a property that's like a new build or it's close to a new build, it's creative. That's the quickest way to find a creative deal. Another way, or not find, but recognize a creative deal. Another way to recognize a creative deal is if they tell you their loan balance and you see their asking price. If their asking price is 240 and they owe 236, then you can already just jump into it. Okay, so it sounds like you're trying to walk away with $4,000 in your pocket, correct? Yeah, we're just trying to get at least $4,000. Okay, perfect. Well, Diego, if I were the buyer for this property, this is kind of something that we would do. We would, if the deal makes sense, we would just go ahead and pay you this $4,000 up front, come in and continue making the payments on your behalf, and we take over that loan. You take the $4,000, you walk away from the property. We just purchased a new property for $4,000, but we have to keep that loan in place because you got a good interest rate. What's your interest rate? It's 3.5%. Okay, perfect. So that'll be one of our purposes of actually buying this. We want to buy the debt. You owe 236, you're asking 240. You have a 3% interest rate. We love that interest rate. And we don't want to, come in here and, throw out lowball cash offers because it doesn't make sense. So here's something that we can structure. And I said it, but I just want to make sure that you're clear. You get $4,000. We'll give you that $4,000. You walk away from the property. We step in. We come in and take over your mortgage. We're now making the payments on your behalf. We're now responsible for that mortgage payment. Your name is still going to be on the loan. It's still going to be on the mortgage. But we are the ones who's responsible for this now. Is this kind of new, or is this, have you have a couple investors pitched this to you already? No, I never heard of this. Is this legal? Yes, it's very legal. Actually, I can show you a few references that we have. I can give you a few sellers' name and numbers so that you can call them and ask them about the process. That's me pitching sub 2 to these people. But I quickly recognize that this is a sub 2 deal because I've pulled information out of them. What's your loan balance? 236. You're asking 240, so you're looking to make at least $4,000 to walk away with. Correct. Perfect. That's how you quickly recognize a subject to deal or a creative deal. Now, Shad, do you want to get to underwriting, or we can do that next week?
Underwriting, you can go real quick.
All right, perfect.
Since I went with them, I feel like it wouldn't take that much of time. It's just playing with the numbers so they can understand.
So, Shad, can you tell us what do we need to underwrite a creative deal?
So if we give you the Google calculator, like is that Excel sheet, that's fine. But I really want Jabs, don't give them this because they will get used to it. I would say just use the bank rate. So the free resources, they have access to that at any time if they have a mobile phone device. Because this one is just plugging number. But if they use bank rate, it takes a 4 minutes extra, but it's very handy. You can do it at any time.
Gotcha. Okay. So probably maybe later on, I'll give everyone access to this quick and dirty spreadsheet. It's really quick. It's straight to the point. But there's a few things that you need whenever you're talking to a seller about creative financing. First thing you're going to need, and all of this that we need is it's inside the mortgage statement. but you're going to want to know what's their mortgage balance. You obviously want to know the purchase price. Next thing you want to know is what's the PITI? Does anyone not know what PITI is?
I went over all of this earlier.
Perfect. You're going to need to know the insurance payment, the taxes payment, principal and interest. You're going to need the breakdown, the full breakdown of the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. That's literally all you're needing. Mortgage balance, PITI, and that's literally it. You can get all of that with a mortgage statement. Now, since Shah said, let's do it on bank rate, let's do it on bank rate. So I want to go and do a quick example. Somebody throw out an address and let's quickly underwrite it.
You can do Norfolk, Virginia.
Norfolk. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for that one, you're gonna actually need the spreadsheet.
Okay, then let's do the Irving one.
Yeah, you're gonna need the spreadsheet because it's a subject to deal. It's not a straight seller finance deal.
So you want a straight seller finance deal or subject to deal?
A
Let's
sub-
do Irving. You want the Irving one?
Yeah, I think that's fine. We can do
Okay.
Irving.
Let me pull out the Irving address. Wait, where it is. Almost there. Was right here. Okay, 522. Let me type in there.
Okay.
So it's in the chat.
All righty. Give me 1 second, Shad. Alrighty. So first thing I'm going to do once I get an address is I'm going to go to Zillow. We're just underwriting right now. We're underwriting a creative deal. I'm going to use a spreadsheet so that you guys can see kind of how we do this. So this estimate tells me that it's worth 250. Obviously I can go to PropStream and go to the MLS to actually get the true comps, but I'm going to just run through this and just use this as an example. So the property is worth 250,000. That's the ARV. So, and Evan, you know, these are just one-offs over here on the side of the spreadsheet. Shad, do you know the mortgage balance for this property?
$241,328. So
241,328.
2,328.
Okay, perfect. Alrighty. And the price, we'll get to the price later. You remember how much the seller wants for cash?
So
Seller.
right now we are
What about the wholesaler?
wholesaler 10,000, cash to seller put 5,000, closing cost 5,000.
So 5,000 and the wholesaler 10,000.
Yeah,
Okay, closing costs another 5 grand. Perfect.
put another 10,000 in there, closing cost.
10,000 for closing costs.
Put wholesaler 10,000,
I did.
5,000 to 5,000 to seller,
Uh-huh.
and closing cost 5,000, total 20,000.
Perfect. Perfect. So here's our entry fee so far. We're giving the seller $5,000. We're giving the wholesaler $10,000. There's no arrears on this property. We may or may not put in rehab on this one because we're probably going to wrap it, but we'll see. Holding costs.
Let's put rehab on it so they can have, because it does have rehab. Let's put $10,000 rehab.
$10,000. Now we're at 30 grand. Holding costs. What's the PIT? So here's how we find holding costs, guys. Really quick. We take the PITI, whatever the PITI is, multiply that by 3 to 6 months. Shot, do you know
So
the
let me, yeah, 1838.
1838? Let me go to my calculator. If you guys are getting bored, I understand. Trust me, I do. But I just want to show you guys how to do this. So that's
Because you guys
5,500.
have test tomorrow.
So I'm going to take my mortgage and multiply it by 3 to 6 months. The reason why I say 3 to 6 months, because that's how long it takes. Sometimes it takes that long to find a tenant or a wrap buyer. And we want to put those funds aside so that we can have funds available to pay the mortgage and the expenses on this property. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So now that we have $5,500 dollars set aside for 3 months of vacancies while we're fixing the property up, let's go ahead and add our utilities or expenses. Our expenses consist of water, gas, electric, and lawn care. So what I do is I take $100 per expense. Why do I use 100? Because that's about average. That's about average for, some properties that we've purchased. $100 per utility because it's vacant. It shouldn't even run up to 100, but we just kind of, assume the worst. So I'm going to add up all of these. We got 4 utilities or 4 expenses. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. I multiply 100 by 4 utilities. That gives us $400 per month times 3 months. That's $1,200. So I'm adding another $1,200, which gives me $6,700 for holding costs. So my entry fee is now $36,700. Now, how likely is it for us to have this property vacant for 3 months? It's highly unlikely because we know the area, but you don't want to assume that you're just going to find a tenant or find a buyer as soon as you purchase this property. You don't want to assume that. You want to make sure that you have some funds set aside for holding costs just in case it's vacant. You just never know. So our entry fee right now is $36,700, and I'll cut down that rehab. We're definitely wrapping this thing. We're definitely going to wrap this.
That's why I pulled it up, because we're gonna make a final decision today. Since I
Yeah.
told the wholesaler we're gonna talk, that's why it's better. So you see the number as well.
Shot, I would love this property. I mean, I would love this deal if we got him down to $5,000 for his fee. I'm just being like brutally honest. I would love if we can get in here. I told him that
He will. I feel like he will. Then when
Okay.
we gonna talk today, then was like because it has a repair and holding cost. Maybe the final we can say, hey, 20,000 is still high. We said you yesterday, but we'll have a conversation with Ben, you and me after this meeting. Maybe we can. It's a
Okay.
possibility.
Okay, perfect. So what I'm gonna do is for now, I'm gonna put $10,000 and we're gonna keep it this way. 10,000 and we're gonna put the rehab right here. I'm gonna show you where I'm going. I'm gonna put this number in here for now because I want to show you guys how I renegotiate my numbers and how I play with the numbers, because that's all we're doing is playing with numbers so that we can make sure that we're making at least a 15% cash on cash return. Now, and I know Shot went over that earlier. Shout out to Shot. So the PIT
Jabs,
was
so I am giving you 25 more minutes because they are getting the value and at one video everything.
okay,
And we are gonna go over the test, like grading them tomorrow. That's
perfect.
why let's like go in depth so we don't have to explain again next time. So at one video. So since you are using this Excel sheet, uh, use that number on bank rate and also explain that to on Excel sheet, since we are going another 25 minutes to 30 minutes.
The only way it will work on bank rate is if we were like straight seller financing a property, because you're on bank rate, you're trying to you're coming up with
No, just show them that at example that in wrap deals it's working,
oh,
but
so you're
on
trying to do
sub
a
to
wrap
deal,
deal.
like when buy and hold, show them in bank rate how quickly we do a sub to deal. If we're trying to do buy and hold, then it's not working. We can just go to bank rate real quick. That's the way we do quick com on our sub to deal. On the same example, just create one.
I don't understand, because I only use bank rate if it's straight seller finance. If we're financing their equity, then I'll come over here and I would use bank rate. Is that what you're
So
saying?
the wrap deal, we go to bank rate and create 10% to make it simple, like how much down payment we are putting, just the basic what we are using bank rate for.
Okay, got you. All right,
Yeah,
I'll get into that in a few seconds. So the PITI you said was 1885,
1838.
1838. Do you remember what it could rent for? Or I can actually look that up right quick. That was
We were looking at 2200 and average. Yes,
damn,
going
they said 25.
2500.
Okay, nice. Rents 22 or 25?
Yeah,
20.
put 25. That's fine.
Okay, perfect. All right, war chest. I always do 10% of whatever the rents are going for. Private money lender, I'm not going to put that in there yet. Insurance taxes, that's included inside the PITI, so you don't have to put anything in there. No payment to seller. Are we going to hire property management? No, so I'm going to leave that at 0. But if we hire a property management company, if we're being conservative, we always use 10% right here, 10% of the rents. So if we were to hire a property management company, we're going to put $250 right there, because that's 10% of this number.
The rent. Yeah, let's put that property management
Okay,
uh,
perfect.
for
So
this example.
Shad already went over on how to find the I think you went over the private money lenders payments. I think so. But
No, no.
okay, just to recap, I'm going to take my entry fee, because what we're solving for is the PML payment. Over here to the side, you see 12%. Sometimes we use 12, sometimes we use 15. It just depends on the investor that we talk to. And I heard you talk about that earlier, about the cash on cash return that investor wants. How much do they want? They want 15%. So
Yeah, for the buyer, yes.
perfect. So PMLs, they work the same way. Private money lenders, they work the exact same way. They want to see 15%, sometimes 12%. So let's just use 12 and let's keep it simple. This is how I find my PML payment. I'm going to take my entry fee, which is 36,700. So let's put that in, 36,700. and I'm going to multiply that by 12%, or you can do 0.12, and that gives me $4,404 per year. That's what I'm paying my private money lender per year. Now I need to find out how much am I paying him per month. So I divide that number by 12, and that equals $367. So I'm going to plug in 367. All righty. Now, for some reason, my expenses aren't adding up. Give me 1 second, guys. This will be really quick. Boom. Okay. So as you guys can see right now, I am negative $205, and that's a negative 7% cash on cash return. So what does that mean? That means this deal sucks. Now, how can we make this a deal? This is the part where I start changing numbers. This is where I start negotiating. So a couple things. These two numbers, I can change. I can change these. I can go back and renegotiate these numbers right here. Closing costs and holding costs, I can't change those numbers. I cannot change those numbers. Rehab, maybe. So I want my entry fee to be lower. So I'm going to put, hey, wholesaler, you can make $5,000. Closing cost stays $5,000. Holding cost stays $6,700. Let's put the rehab down. Now I think I want to wrap this deal. Let's put that down to 0 because we're not going to put any money into it. We're just going to sell it as is. So now our entry fee is $21,000. Now, I cannot change my PITI, and I definitely can't change my war chest, and I can't change property management. But what I can do is I'll say, I don't want to hire property management. So let me take them out of here because I'm going to wrap this deal. I can also say, I don't want to put any funds aside for war chest because I'm going to wrap this deal. Now, as you guys can see, my numbers are increasing. My cash on cash return just increased to 16%. I'm not satisfied with 16%. So one number I have to change is this PML number because my entry fee number changed. So let's do that. I'm showing you guys how you can negotiate with your seller. This is where you'll go back and forth. Well, it doesn't make sense for us to do this deal. Why don't we do something like this? I'll give you $5,000 up front and I'll pay you blah, blah, blah. And that's literally how we negotiate. Divided by 12. So now we're paying our PML $217 a month. The reason why we're paying them is because we're borrowing their money. So now we're at 25%. Oh shit, this damn deal looks good to me. Had to screenshot that. Hold on. I'm sending this to you, Shad. Okay. So that's how we quickly, I know I'm going through it fast. You guys can just go back and what do you call that? You can rewatch this several times. Now, when we now that we're finished with this, we're looking at 25% cash on cash. We're looking at $445 in cash flow a month. I like the deal. I actually love this deal now. This deal makes sense for me. Another investor would say, hey, I'm cool with making 15% cash on cash return. Okay, perfect. So if we wanted to wholesale this deal, I'll come up here and I'll just start playing with numbers until I see 15% cash on cash return. What does $15,000 look like? So probably we can make maybe 17,000 on this and split it with the wholesaler who brought the deal. Or damn, 18,000. Okay, 17. Oh, oops, sorry. You guys get the point. So that's that. Now, going to what Shah was just talking about. If we're going to wrap this deal, if I wanted to wrap this property, the Zestimate tells me that it's worth $250,000. I'm going to add 10% of the 250. That's what you want me to go over, correct, Shad?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to add 10% of the Zestimate, and that's $25,000. This is how what I'm doing is I'm trying to name my price. So 250,000 plus 25,000. Uh-oh. How do I alrighty. Okay. 225,000 plus 25,000 gives us 200 and oh crap. I'm messing up. Sorry. 250 plus 25,000 gives us 275,000. That's going to be my sales price. So I'm going to put $275,000 as my sales price, and I'm going to ask for 10% down whenever I'm wrapping this deal. I'm asking for 10% down. We always keep the long term 30 years. And as far as interest rate, we can just play around with it. So here's what I do. I always start out at 9% interest just to see what the principal and interest payment will be. It's showing me $1,991. Shad, would you happen to know our taxes and insurance payment?
Okay. So if we can go to Zillow and find that out.
I'm gonna go to the I'll get the what is that called?
Information.
Yeah, the mortgage statement. That way it can be accurate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you forgot to send us that.
Government documents. Let me send this. I thought I sent it to you in the team group. Okay. So whoa. Alrighty. So you guys can't see it, but I'm looking right at it. Our taxes and insurance payment for, I'll plug it inside of the spreadsheet right quick.
521.
Yep, it's 521. Okay, perfect. So let's go back to, I'm just gonna put 521 for property tax because it doesn't show me the breakdown of the taxes and insurance. It just says 521. So I'm gonna put it here, $521. But just remember that it's for taxes and insurance. So we want to see if this deal makes sense. We can rent this thing out for $2,500. Remember, because Zillow told us that we can get $2,500 for this deal. So all I want to know is, can I sell this property for $275,000 with 10% down at 9% interest? My total monthly payment for my wrap buyer is $2,512 a month.
No, you can.
Sorry, y'all, that was a helicopter right here. Okay. Do you think I can sell this property?
No.
No.
Shad, what do you think?
I know it, so let them. If I tell, they wouldn't understand. So because it's the rental rate and other things are involved. So
yes,
you explain. You go ahead and explain. I do
so
not honor to.
we can rent this property out for $2,500. Their mortgage payment for the wrap buyer is going to be $2,512. Can we sell this property? Jordan, what you think?
Yes.
Thank you. That was Evan. Evan, can you explain just a real quick why you think we can sell this property for $275
Well, typically,
at $2,500?
we're normally typically kind of working the rates to go up a couple $100 off of a rental rate. So if
Mhm.
you're getting in a mortgage payment that's directly on top of a rental rate, we already know that people are paying that much in rent for that area. Now we're doing an owner finance deal where they're not having to come out of pocket 20% down. You're coming out 10 at a regular rental rate. You should be able to sell that no problem all day long.
Easily. Because we're there. So what Evan just said is people are already paying $2,500 for rent. If we're charging them $2,500 for the mortgage and we're only asking 10% down, that's going to sell really, really fast. But the reason that this property is going to be able to get sold is because we're selling a mortgage payment, not a rental payment, but we're selling a mortgage payment for $2,500. And that's what the going rent rates are going for. I'm sorry, that's what the going rent is in this area. So if people are renting out for 2,500 and we're telling someone we'll sell you a house for 2,500, they're more than likely going to buy this property. We don't go no more, or we don't increase our mortgage no more than 300 to about $600 dollars above the rent rates. So if we can rent it for 2,500, we'll probably go up to maybe 2,800 up to like maybe $3,100. But we want to find someone fast. So I say, Shad, if we purchase this, we can wrap this for 275 with 10% down at 9% interest.
Easily, it will get sold. My thinking is it can get sold easily.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why we have to drop that. That's why we have to come in here and drop this entry fee.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to 5,000. Now, I can go over like our profits on this deal, but I think that's going to confuse you guys and I don't want to do that. But the fact of the matter is I'm going to go through that like fast. We're asking 275,000 with 27,500 down, right? Let me go to, where's my calculator? I lost it. Let's go through profits really quick. $27,500. That's what we're asking for the down payment from our wrap buyers. What's our entry fee?
Our entry fee is 15,000 if we give $5,000 to the wholesaler.
15,000.
If we do not honor to give him 20,000, we wanna
Right.
give them 15,000. So that can be our entry fee with closing costs to the seller and to the buyer. But if you calculating that holding cost up front, that becoming around $22,000.
So do you want to remove the holding cost?
If you are wrapping it, then we just like 1 month holding cost.
Okay, perfect. Shad made a good point. Shad is basically saying that we can sell this property in 1 month. And I totally agree with him. So if that's the case, what I'm going to do, how am I going to find out my holding costs for 1 month? I'm going to take 1 month of my PITI, which is $1,838, and I'm going to add 1 month of my expenses, which is another $1,200. So 1,838 plus 1,838 plus 1,200. That's $3,000 right there. I like that. So now we're at, between $15,000 and $18,000, just like Shad said. That's perfect. That is perfect. So let's pull up our calculator. The down payment that we're asking our buyers to pay us is $27,500, and our entry fee is $18,000. We're going to make $9,500 up front. That's our cash now. That's how much money we're going to make up front. So let me write that in the side chat. or somebody type that in the side chat. Cash now, 9,500. Let's talk about cash flow. We're going to have our buyers pay us $1,991 a month. Shad, do you know the PI for this deal?
Principal and interest.
Yes, sir.
Let's check. Let's check. So principal is $310 and interest is $1,006.
So can somebody do the math on that? What was that again? 300.
So you can just put 1310.
Okay. So our principal and interest that we're charging our wrap buyer is 1991, and we're paying the bank on the subject to loan, the underlying mortgage, the underlying lien,
1310.
we call it 1310. We're making $681 in cash flow. Shai, let's buy this deal. Let's contract this today. We need to
We'll
contract
call
now.
call Aaron. We'll call Aaron after this.
Okay. I just got excited. All right. Now, and I don't get excited like that. Okay, so we'll be making $681 in cash flow. That's the cash flow. We're making $9,500 up front. That's the cash now. Now let's talk about cash later. Here's how we calculate cash later. I'm going to take 275,000 minus 27,500. That gives us $247,500. That's what our loan is to our wrap buyers. That's how much they owe us, $247,500. Oh, I think we're running into a challenge. Shad, what was the loan balance on this property?
241,000.
Okay. All right, we're good. We're in the clear. Okay, perfect. 241 is our mortgage balance. So we're gonna subtract 241,000, whatever the rest of the number is. This is what we'll be making later whenever the buyer decides to refinance us, or if they decide to resell the house. We'll be making $6,500 later. That could be in 2 years, that could be in 7 years, that could be in maybe 5 years or 7 years. Or did I say 7 years already? Now, so the total profit centers of this deal, here's what it looks like. $9,500 cash now, $681 cash flow, and $6,500 cash later. If someone wants to go ahead and buy us out right now, we'll make $6,500 cash later because there's barely any equity inside of this property. Now
And if the house prices goes up,
yeah, we can sell it for more. And then
and also
our cash later will go up.
mhm.
Also, before you go, Shad, if and only if the buyer decides they want to stick with us for like the next 15 years, let me show you guys. I'm gonna go to bank rate. I'm gonna show you how we can make money, a lot more money for the cash later.
Exactly.
If
Amortization.
the buyer says, hey, I like you guys, I've been paying you guys, I want to keep this house forever, I want to only pay you because my credit sucks, my husband, he can't afford, he can't get good credit for some reason, my credit stinks, I want to keep paying you guys. If they decide that they want to pay us for the full 30 years, or maybe they decide they want to pay us out, and let's just say they want to pay us out in 2044, their loan balance is going to be $144,000, right? 144,000. Let's just call it 144,000. Keep that number in mind. Now, how many years is that in 2044? This is year 2044 minus 2023, that is minus 20 23. That's 21 years. Let's say they decide to pay us off in 21 years. Our loan balance is 144,000. Now, hopefully they want to stay with us for a very, very long time. I'm gonna show you guys how we can make more cash later, instead of making just 6,500. So the underlying mortgage is 241,000 right now. So I'm gonna type this in. So I'm just trying to calculate how much money we'll be making later on. And that interest rate was like 5.12 shot.
5%.
5%. Okay. So at year 2044, for the mortgage balance over here, it'll be $110,000. And remember, our mortgage balance was going to be 144,000. So here's how we can make more cash later. Basically, where I'm going is, the more we pay our loan down, the more equity or the more cash later we're creating. So 144,000 minus 110,000.
Unknown caller.
That gives us $34,000 instead of 6,400 or 6,500. Does that kind of make sense, guys?
Did you guys understand? Ask questions if you guys don't understand anything.
So I'm assuming we all got it. All right, cool. Shot, I think I'm done. I just want to say, let's get on these calls. Welcome aboard, Omar. I'm glad you're here. I'll put this inside the Google Drive, and yeah, you guys just request access. I keep it locked because I don't want anybody sharing this stuff. I want to keep it just for the team. But anyway, but if you guys got questions, or if you're confused, rewatch the video. I can make some more videos, like 1 to 2 minutes. That way I'll go over everything in details, and it'll be kind of like just really quick. Me and Shad are going to make these videos for you guys so that you can see how to run comps, how to run ARV, how to do blah, 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 one by one, like one video at a time. But let's get in here. Let's make these calls. I'm seeing the V8, the VAs. You guys are doing a damn good job with bringing these leads in. I'm seeing them. Guys, as these leads come in, we have to make these phone calls, guys. We got to get on the phone. We have to, if we're not locking up leads, we got to at least get them to the point where they are ready to be locked up or closed. But we have to get on the phones. So as the VAs are having these leads come over from launch control, we got to get on the phone with them like as soon as possible. We got to make sure we stay on top of these calls. So, Chad, I'm done. I'm about to go ahead and head out. I gotta go do some stuff, but I'll have this recording sent out as soon as it's finished uploading.
All right, guys. So thank you for being patient, and so far